What's up, everybody? Good afternoon if you're in the U.S. Good evening, good night if you're somewhere else in the world. Shout out if you're watching from somewhere else in the world, not in the U.S., let us know in the comments down below. If you're not watching this live, if you're watching live, let us know in the comments. Everybody else, where are you tuned in from? Where are you watching this from? Let's see where this community is engaging from. We're going to be breaking down the markets, talking about what's going on. In the morning show, you should definitely watch our BitLab morning show. We go live 10:15 a.m. Eastern time every day, Monday through Friday. We're starting to do, not every Saturday, but a lot of Saturdays, we're doing these really big interviews. I got Mark Yusko coming up this Saturday. It's going to be released, a shortened version is going to be released on BitBoy Crypto, and then the full-length version will be here on BitLab Academy. Really excited to share that with you all. We're going to break down the markets because we got things sitting there, literally feels like just absolutely riding on the edge of a cliff. We can see that if we zoom in here on the Bitcoin chart. This is a BitGet chart here. So this is brought to you by BitGet. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff with BitGet here in the near future. We're going to have a trading competition with just a demo account so we can see, not going to put any of you at risk. I want to see you guys practice and see what it doesn't matter if you win or lose. Point is going through the motion. So here on the BitGet chart, we can see that we have lost a level and basically came up and tapped it and came back down. Although this is on the 2-hour chart. Are we going to get one more attempt back up to tap and then break down? Or are we going to push up here and break through? Well, we're going to be talking about that. And we're going to be breaking down not only Bitcoin, Ethereum, a bunch of altcoins. We're going to be going for probably just about 45 minutes or so, maybe a little longer. Yesterday, we went for just shy of an hour. But shout out to everybody here. Make sure you're hitting the like button. You're hitting that subscribe button. And you're dinging the bell. I really appreciate it. I think yeah, there we go. If this is your first time here, I can guarantee you it's not going to be your last time. My name's Kellam. Welcome to the show. Let's go ahead and dive on into it. First things first, make sure you're following me right here at Kellam. Look for the blue check. Look for the hit logo. Make sure you're following BitLab Academy. It's right here at Academy BitLab. You're welcome to retweet and hit the like button. You may or may not be entered to win. It's a good incentive for you there. We've been giving away a lot of stuff every week for the last 6 months or something like that. I want to go over a couple things, and we're going to dive right into the charts. First things first, I wanted to share is Game of Trades right here. Post-pandemic monthly flow into personal savings. Look at this flow into personal savings. This means money is going into savings. There's excess money. Why excess? Because they have money to put in savings. It's not being spent. Now look at this metric right here. Post-pandemic savings. There's still, look at this. It's money coming out. Not as much money going into savings. Not as much money going into savings. Money coming out of savings. Money coming out of savings. 1.9 trillion drawdown from accumulated excess savings. Something's got to happen in this economy soon. People got to start making some money. People got to, have some capital to put in savings. Otherwise, there's not going to be any extra capital. Not only savings. Think about it this way. Investing in some ways, I don't want to call it saving, but it is investment capital is from excess capital. So if we're looking at the savings metric here, and savings is dwindling down, and the amount of excess savings is there, and it's coming back towards the zero line. And we're having, we're not having as much money go into savings. In fact, money's coming out of savings. At some point, something's got to break because as soon as the savings run out, then there's no extra capital. And if there's no extra capital, there's no liquidity for markets. So pay attention to that. Consumers are heading for trouble. Only 200 billion is left in excess savings, which is keeping households afloat. 2 months ago, this number was 500 billion. At current rate, savings will be depleted by September 2023. Pay attention to the data sets. Don't just look at the price on the asset you're trading. We got to look at broader things so we understand what the hell is going on. So let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. Like I said, we're going to move right through this. We're going to get right into the charts. Willie Woo, one of the best analysts in the space, also one of the best on-chain analysts and creators in the space as well. Macro headwinds from the U.S. dollar strength. Meanwhile, there's increasing demand on futures market. Pro traders, this is pro traders, typically futures market, and on-chain fundamentals are picking up. Either way, up or down, we are now setting up for a strong move. Volatility squeeze coming. Couldn't agree more with this. This line right here echoes that line that I have right here on the chart. This line right here, if we zoom out, we can see this line right here. Tap, 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 tap. And we are sitting right on the edge. 1, 2, 3. This would be the third time. We came down, double bottom here, found support, and pushed out of this. This was the first establishment of this true trend line here. Secondary establishment. We are on the line. We could look at this as support, but we also have to take into context what's going on in the price action. Expansion bullishly. Another expansion bullishly, and it's close enough to where it looks like it feels on initial impression looking at it like it's about the same size. We've measured it before. We know that this is a smaller expansion than this one. And then look at how much smaller this one is. I mean, you can, without zooming in on this, you can't even truly tell if you've broken to a high. So in reality, this is like a double top. So is an M formation forming here for a breakdown? Similarly, we've talked about, we'll pull up the TA in a second with all the other stuff. Point being is we're on the edge. And this edge that we're on is following a decrease in bullish expansion. There's a little bit of a narrative shift going on there. Is that narrative shift going to follow through with the break of this support? That's the $42 trillion question. Now, coming over right here, looking right here, it won't be forever. It won't be boring forever. Now, looking where we're at right here, if we're looking on the macro, this is a 1-week chart. We can see in the past similar structures on price action, where we're at in relationship to the moving average. Okay. Post breakout of this descending trend line. Also looking here at the RSI, look at the same, nearly the same setup. Contraction all the way down, very, very low, very weak signal here on the RSI. Slight move up. Bullish divergence actually is what that was. That created bullish divergence for a move up. Bullish divergence for a move up. Break to the upside, rejection back down, break back above, find support. So break to the upside, rejection back down, but we found support on that rejection, found support again. But now we have a little bit of a bear div here on the RSI being higher and lower here, and we have lower here and higher here. And we only know that because we've done the measurements, and we know that this is about 2% higher on the second high. But even if this was the exact same dollar, this would still be bearish divergence. Because look at there's a notable difference in this high and this high. This is much higher than this one here. This is a lower high. Come down here, we look at MACD. Look at that. MACD's pinched back together. MACD's pinched back together. True Strength Index, TSI. I had to remember what TSI stood for. Pinch, come back down to the signal line, kind of trade right about it, find support in that region, and then break out. We're in the midst of that right now. We've pushed up, pulled down. We're trading in that region right on the signal line. And then, of course, the CMF, the Chaikin money flow. Descending, curvature with a bit of a trend line that's extrapolated out to provide a support level. And we are essentially right here on this first touch. So although, and I talked about it on this morning show, we did have the possibility from fractals of past price action that this should absolutely go up, up, and away. But we can't rely intrinsically only on fractals of past price action because there's a different set of circumstances entirely. It's not like it's not like you change the door in your house. No, this has different foundation. This has different walls. This has different paint. This house is so different, you wouldn't know it if you drove by it because our economic conditions are literally, quite literally, the opposite of what they were in the past cycles when we were at this stage in early bull market pre-halving. The question's going to be, I'm not saying that price is not going to go up. At some point it will. Question's going to be, are we going to buck the trend that Bitcoin has created with pre-halving push-ups, sell-offs, and then post-halving parabolic run-up? Or are we going to buck, if we do that, then we're bucking the economic sort of status quo right now with what's going on with, inflation rates, monetary policy, lack of liquidity in markets. So either way, some trend is going to be bucked. So this is why we got to hedge ourselves. Now, looking at this next tweet, we already looked at that. So let's jump right into the charts. We're going to break down a bunch of stuff here. Now, looking at this, we have, look at this, bounce perfectly on this line, bounce perfectly on this line. We even got a bullish signal right on this bounce right here. That's what this this green flag is here that says B, bullish signal. You see, and we got 2 bearish signals here, which give us an exit point and a full exit, or a short point here. Another opportunity here. Lost this line after we found support here, and we lost this level. Came down to these lows over here, this low region, I should say. But this is not showing strength yet. I'm looking at the 2-hour chart. This is a pretty small time frame chart. We had an attempt. And look, if we zoom in on this, we had an attempt with this wick. Where did it get rejected at? Right at this trend signal line, which is also the 50 moving average. We double click on this, actually come over here. This is the DEMA. So it's a 50 exponential moving average. And we can see that this is getting rejected right at that level. It tried to push through this dynamic resistance zone here. And we can see that there's no candle body within this at all. It's all wick. Candle open here, pushed up, got rejected, and is now it's all wick. There's no follow through. In fact, we got 47 minutes left. I can't imagine we're going to have some huge amount of volume in the next 47 minutes. We're on the 2-hour chart. It'll be interesting to see where this volume candle comes to. If this volume candle, is lower than these 2 candles, then we may be seeing a shifting of trend and any sort of potential relief here. So we want to pay attention to this. Now let's go out to the 8-hour. Pretty bearish. See this? Look at this. We do have a bit of a reversal candle here. If this closes, this is another 4.5 hours, almost 5 hours. So let's go to a little bit smaller time frame. Same thing. So it's all happened in this one 4 and 8 hour candle. It's happened in recent time. Push up, sell off, equilibrium right in this zone. 47 minutes left. Are we going to form a little bit of a base here? Why do I say that? This is a spinning top candle. Spinning tops mean roughly equal length wicks above and below. Candle body, much smaller. So you have wicks sticking out of the top and the bottom. It's essentially painting the picture of indecision in that battle between the bulls and the bears. Now, this doesn't have to be a reversal, but this is just showing that the momentum has been down. Now it's neutral. So there's a potential for a reversal. I don't want you to see this candle and say it's going to reverse. This candle says chances are now less likely that this is going to continue down. It doesn't mean that it won't. All of a sudden, it becomes less likely. It's going to depend on the winds of the market. Is there any FUD narratives? Is there any other thing that can remove any hope from the bulls, and then the bottom just falls out? Because this has already fallen. It's already broken this level. It's already confirmed the break of that level. And, this zone, and I mean by candle bodies, not just wicks, this zone right here where all this trading is, if we break below this with candle body, if we break below this with candle body closures and lose this level, then let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit. Lose this level, then I do think that we're coming down not that much further, but 28,700 essentially, which is the wick low of this zone here. And then the wick low of this is 28,589. So this, and that's, you'd be cutting through also the order block here from the BitLab volume. So this zone right here, let's see, we're going to mark out the bottom of this wick to the bottom of this wick. If the price falls into this zone, it is not holding this zone, doesn't bounce up and work its way back up, then it will basically be letting us know that there's more bearishness than we want to admit. If this comes down, bounces up a little bit, and then loses this level, we may be coming down to this 618 level down here at the 27.5s. So this is why Bitcoin is on the edge. And when we look at all these alts that we like trading, if Bitcoin is on the edge, and the narrative, the risk narrative within all broader markets feels like it's on the edge, then it is most certainly on the edge for the total market cap here, total 3, which is the altcoins. It's every coin in the market minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. And if we bring this larger, we can see that this is absolutely in an established downtrend. And where we're at right now, we've lost this level right here, which is the high of this zone. We've lost this. In fact, not only do we lose it here, We came up and rejected at this level here, came back down, had a deviation above, and came right back down. This is telling me that there's weakness in this market. Weakness. So with this is leaning towards, this is on the 4-hour chart. We're looking at the index, essentially the aggregate value of all coins combined in the crypto market minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. So all those alts, basically when we're looking at this, when you come up here and you see Bitcoin, Ethereum, now look at everything else. Okay, everything else, boo, you know, all whatever, tens of thousands of them. That's what you're looking at. Everything minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we see the altcoin market try to attempt up, got rejected down, lost a key level, which is this previous high of this range. So of this range on the way up. So we also lost this here, of course, you know, quite a while ago. So if this continues breaking down, we have a possibility of coming much lower. You know, what levels do we look at? Well, we could look right here. This is basically this high region and this rejection and this bounce. So this is down another $7 billion. We can also, let's go a little bit larger time frame so we can look at it a little smarter. So that would be ultimately actually one of the more bullish spots if this were to pull back, is to bounce here off this sort of top here and bounce from there. Yeah, my computer's going so slow. I'm gonna have to close my my Discord. I don't know why my Discord makes my computer so slow when I'm streaming, not when I'm doing anything else. Now, if we lose this level, then the next level is right here. Why right here? We see bounce, bounce, bounce. We also slide this over, rejection right here, and bounce, and bounce. So this would be, you know, $13 billion more coming out of the altcoin market if this were to happen. That's not even a crash. That's a small percentage drop. The thing is, that's only a 1.8% drop, 1.9. Next one is 3.5. But remember, this doesn't mean that your altcoins are going to fall potentially 1.9 or 3.5. This means some altcoins like Ethereum or, you know, other coins, there's going to be some coins that perform well in this time to go up. And there's going to be other ones, like if we talk about Avalanche, Quant, XRP, Cardano, HBAR, GRT, AGIX, especially if you get down to the Pepes, the SHIB, all these different coins. They're all going to have different narratives going on. For instance, SHIB. I'm not somebody that's ever bought SHIB, never hold it, but I know a lot of different people hold it, so we'll talk about it. They had the Shibarium supposed to roll out today. I'm not even sure if it did or not, but there's positive news surrounding what's going on with SHIB. So if the market starts dropping and SHIB starts pumping, that wouldn't be some bizarre thing because there's big fundamental things happening on the SHIB network. And this goes for any project. You could have a bunch of things falling and Polygon could shoot up because Polygon has another one of its amazing partnerships or something like that. But at the same token, if SHIB has some big news event, what happens? Buy the rumor, sell the news. So maybe SHIB even falls even farther because SHIB is not something that really has a lot of conviction buyers. People are buying that hoping to get rich. If it starts dropping and everything starts dropping, there's going to be a lot of people jumping ship. And we also have speculators that are a little bit smarter than all the rest of the retail that are buying that speculation of the news of Shibarium coming out today. And whenever that does happen, there could be, this is why it could fall further than other alts, even though it has a big news day. Once it happens, the news event has happened, you sell the news. So we have to pay attention to this. So let's go ahead and break down some charts. Bitcoin, we already talked about it. We'll come back to Bitcoin at the end just to look at things. Ethereum, I mean, it's really on the edge. Looking at this on this 4-hour chart, we have this trend line right here that we did break out of, but let's go ahead and delete this right here. Looking at, I don't even know what this is. Okay. Order blocks right below us. This is all part of the BitLab volume, part of the BitLab trading stack, which this new updated version is going to be released here in a matter of only a few days over at bitlabacademy.com. But we can see this is coming down, testing this previous resistance as support, but it's also testing these previous lows right here, option J. In addition to that, it's also testing the top side of this order block right here. So there's a number of things and reasons on Ethereum that it's sitting on the edge. But look at this on the daily. Look at how much red is here. Okay. So if we zoom out on this, this looks like a pretty ugly, almost like a double top, not a double top, like an M formation, lower high. Are we going to get that lower low now? And in order to get that lower low, this is the scary part with Ethereum. If we got the lower low from this range right here, this high, this low, we have the lower high. Is this going to be followed up with the lower low? If that were to be the case, this would need to also break this trend line right here. What trend line is that? I don't know. Let's take a look. So in order to break this low, price would have to come down over here. So we can see there's a lot at stake for what the price action is doing right now in terms of the broader trends that have been going on. And that's going to shake some people out. That's going to scare some people. I'm confident, even on coins I don't move out of, even if they drop, I'm okay with allocating more at certain target locations, because looking at the data, looking at everything that's going on, whether it's in, pre-halving pump, sell off, and then post-halving absolute parabolic run, or we have a high likelihood of just being overwhelmingly boring and even potentially a sell-off before the halving, which would be opposite. Economy is opposite, right? I brought up this morning, I don't know if it's still here. I brought up this morning this chart right here. If you haven't seen it yet, it's important to take note of. The S&P 500 divided against the money supply. We can see housing bubble top, COVID top, Fed tightening, and we're back at it right now. Price actually, if you adjust for inflation and all this fake money that's been printed, we can see all these assets going up. It's just due to the fake propped up economy. Now, we can be mad at that and we can act politically and do all these different things. Sure, do that. But when we're actually engaging in markets, we can use that to our advantage. It's okay if markets are propped up if we are participating in those markets so that we can take advantage of that. They count on most of you not taking advantage of that. So if we're at the same level here and we do get a sell-off on the stock market and it does put downward pressure, what does it say? Tommy Luck? I don't find the... I'll check into that in a second. I want to keep this video going. Alex will let me know what that was about. Yeah, markets are struggling right now. If Bitcoin's not performing astronomically well right now over the last 2 months, okay, or a month and a half, I should say. Since BlackRock, we had the pump, and then it's just been a gradual sort of bleed off of positive speculation, and the underlying bulls have kind of stopped buying because they're waiting for another catalyst. And if we do get a sell-off on the stock markets, which have been somewhat buoying or preventing the Bitcoin prices from falling further, because once we start getting a sell-off in global equities and traditional assets, then the risk narrative gets very tight and very scary. And if the risk narrative is very scary, then people invest a lot less money in things like Bitcoin and then especially altcoins. So if that does happen, this is very possible that this does test this low. And if we do get that new low, maybe coming down somewhere in this region here, this low here. But this is, what is that? That drop would be $1,400 down into this zone. That'd be a 22% drop. So we just need to know. I'm not saying that's going to happen. Know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there are some very bearish possibilities that could be playing out. I'm not calling for $12,000 Bitcoin or any of that. I'm not even saying that Ethereum is going to fall to 1,400. But there is a possibility at play based on the very tight wound global economy right now that's waiting for some liquidity injection. We started to see a little bit of signs of that with China. We're starting to see some signs of that with China doing some reverse repo, over $40 billion. But there's a lot more that's needed. But everybody, the governments globally are, of course, they want the economy to be doing good. They want everybody making money. It's frustrating for everybody when things are struggling. But on the flip side, we just have been dealing with, overwhelming levels of inflation that came very quickly. And, that brings more civil unrest than the stock market or the Bitcoin market not performing well. So weighing their options, rather than print money to make the, prop the economy up again, it's like, well, we need to be very careful about that because that's what leads to high inflation in the first place. Surplus of dollars makes more dollars available, makes more people have dollars, makes more people willing to spend dollars. So therefore, the demand goes up for things, and in kind, the cost of all those goods go up as well. So that's not an easy task that the Fed is dealing with right now. And we can see a lot of red here on this daily. You come down here to the 4 hour, double click here to make it. So I'd like to see this hold in this region and maybe trickle around this and then work its way up. If we do lose this level, I'd like a quick bounce somewhere at or above this order block here. So I would say at or above 1730. I think what's more likely is if this does work its way down, that we get a top somewhere on like the 1760, 1775 sort of zone. That's the hopium side of my bearishness. Because then we also have opportunity down here to accumulate, but it's also not dropping so far that it's like shaking the entire market, like where people don't want to get in the market for 6 months or a year. Cardano losing levels. Look at this. Lost the level. Now at 27.5, I called for this price, I think the beginning of this week, Monday. We lose this level. I was looking at levels down in this zone. It's looking like we may have some sort of attempt higher. Here's how you know if it's going to be truncated. We got a little bit of a bullish divergence here on the BitLab Trim Fuel, this momentum wave. Look at this. We had the red bars on the momentum wave, meaning a lot of selling volume, normal selling volume, a lot of selling volume, like high volume of selling volume. And then we see a bullish divergence here, which is giving us a little bit of a bounce. But if we can't even get over this trend signal line right here, and look, we're fighting through this dynamic bearish resistance cloud here from the dynamic resistance here. If we come in here, look, we already got rejected at the 50 line. If there's two potentials here, I mean, there's 42, but we'll outline two of them. If we form a W formation like this and break out, and this kind of curves around like this, if that were to happen, this would curve around and provide us the neckline, which would be roughly about where the top of this is. And then this would be a decent sort of reversal pattern that we could look at. In this case, this would be W formation, break out a neckline, but then we have to still come up here and contend with this resistance level now that we have turned from support to resistance. And then the question is going to be, I'm not going to project too far out in the future because we can't see what's going to happen with all these different decisions that's coming from the SEC, from the Fed, from court cases with Grayscale, there's so much. I even saw right before we went live, this right here with Ripple versus the SEC, U.S. Supreme Court to interfere if SEC appeals Judge Torres's ruling. Debate swirls as Torres' decision appeal prompts Supreme Court scrutiny, potentially limiting SEC authority due to regulatory concerns. Now this, everybody throw a one in chat for the Supreme Court standing up for something that this is right. The government body saying this other government body is being jackasses and we do not stand for it. And in fact, we have the supreme authority to rule on whether or not you have the ability to do what you're doing. This is good government right here. Let's see if they follow through. That's what we want to see. We got 122 people in this room and less than half of you hit that like button. What are you doing? I'm putting this together for you all the time. I want to see some engagement in this community. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. We're here in the morning and in the afternoons. We just started doing the afternoon streams. Hope to see a lot more of you, a lot more often. Big love to each and every one of you. Let's keep this going. We got a little while left. We're going to do a bunch of TA now. I just wanted to point out some things there. Now, before we jump into the TA, I meant to bring this up this morning. If you guys don't use Artemis, this is a great dashboard you can utilize. I'm not sponsored by them. This is a free tool I'm sharing with you. app.artemis.xyz. You can come up here in the top and you can select which different coins you want to basically look at. We can put them all on here. And you see, when you do that, it gives you all these different charts. And you can compare daily active addresses, daily transactions, total value locked, DEX volume, and then all the metrics here. But if there's too many charts on here, just put the mouse over the one you're trying to look at. Avalanche has been trending down. Boom. Okay. And this is going back to May. Okay. Optimism. Look at that. Trending up. Osmosis, much lower active users. but it's starting to make a little attempt to the upside. Bitcoin, steady, big daddy of them all, trending upward. Polygon, slow and steady, baby. Cardano, kind of slow and steady. It's starting to trend down a little bit, but let's see. It's also starting to arc down a little bit, so we want to pay attention to that. Ethereum, slow and steady. Solana, trying to make a little bit of an attempt higher. There's a little bit of an arc there. Phantom, trending lower. Try to trend higher, drop. Try to trend higher, drop. Try to trend higher. Are we going to get another drop? Near. A lot of little peaks here. This is just the active addresses. This is one of those fundamental ways that you can really engage with data collection to try to ascertain like intrinsic fundamental value. If there's a lot of use case and you see something and price has not moved and you see that daily active users goes up, 14-fold and the daily transactions is going crazy, and we also see the total value lot going up and the price hasn't moved, that's your signal right there. Using fundamental data, screw the price. You see the fundamental data says something's happening. People are being aware of this. There's some big movement happening on the engine of this project. And once that engine gets pushed on the racetrack, everybody sees just how fast that car is and everybody wants to buy a piece of that car, AKA price go up. Our job as investors, as traders, is to identify good points in price action to buy. But that doesn't mean you only stare at price action. You look at fundamental data like this, DEX volumes here. We see, what was this, Bitcoin? Bitcoin's gotten a little bit of an uptrend here. Look, there's actually one of the lower amounts. And this is because you can buy Bitcoin on every exchange out there. So a lot of people aren't just trading it on DEXs. But then you can see other stuff like osmosis. What's the highest one? Let's see. Ethereum is the highest. That makes sense. There's a lot of Ethereum projects out there. The gas fees, there's all kind of different things that contribute to that. Solana's pretty high too. Phantom up there. They're all kind of just chopping right now. Everything's pretty boring at the moment. I just wanted to point out this tool if you guys haven't used it. You could select whichever ones you want. So you could turn certain things on. Look at stacks. Let's look at Tron. Never even heard of Zora. Let's look at Zora. Sometimes you look at stuff you never heard of. Let's turn on Elrond, which is now called Multiverse X. Let's look at some things here. All right. Oh, man, look at this. Zora. So this must be a new project because look at this. Pop onto the scene and making waves quick. Daily active users. Total value locked also. Or sorry, daily transactions up really high. Tron, look how many daily transactions are on Tron. Oh, man, it's more than all of these. It's pretty cool. Ethereum has the highest total value lock. That's we all know that. Where is Ethereum? What is the top one up there? Oh, it's the top line on the graph. I was like, what? No, it's not an asset. It's just a bar on the graph. The border. Stacks quite low. Total value locked. Tron pretty high. Cardano quite low, but it's a newer DeFi protocol utility option. So there's a lot of things you can utilize here. I just want to point that out. So we're not only looking specifically on TA. We've got to give you tools too. All right, so Cardano, this is the one option. Come down, we get this double bottom, or even just break up from here. But then come up here, we'll have to reevaluate once we test this. What's the velocity? What's the volume? What's the momentum? All the things. What's the context of where Bitcoin dominance is at? That's giving us. We're going to look at a bunch of things once this works its way back up here. The other option is if this gets rejected here, comes down, has a little bit of a bounce, and then continuation down to the downside. Then we'd be down here in the mid 26s. And then the next step below that is, down here in the 25s. So things are not looking too strong. The algo looking like drop, 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 baby. M formation, drop, pause, drop, new low. Look at this. I didn't even notice this today. I don't think we looked at this. New low. At some point, I do think we're going to get a little bit of a hesitation, small consolidation of some factor, whether it's a slight retrace or a W formation or a bear pennant or something like that. But where's the next levels? Where do we bounce at? Look at that. You wonder why we stopped there? Well, there's the next level. That's why we stopped. People have buy orders where this level was, or some take profits on shorts. And this is why this is kind of starting to arc into the zone. Now, if this rides on this, then this will be our level to watch. If we lose this level, then the next level down, we can actually just go like this, option F, from the bottom side to the top side, And we can see there's a 1.382 right here at 9 cents. 99 cents, 9.9 cents. I can speak. The next level down is down here at 9.7 cents, which is right at this sort of grouping right here, right where this 1.618 and this level is right here. Let's zoom out a little bit. I want to see a little bit more clarity on what the hell we're looking at here. So yeah, here 1.382 is 99. The 1.618 is 996. And then the 1.786, which is basically a fib extension. I took a measurement from this low to this high, and I have extension numbers in here that spread out and give you an idea of where price can go to if you don't have levels to look at to the left, which I'm sure we do. I just didn't have the patience to zoom out to look at that. So this is looking pretty bearish. We also, it looks like we have a little bit of a trend line, forming. But it's going to be ugly because this is going from the body. This is going from the wicks. So I'm going to delete that for now. I can just see a shape forming right here. Almost looks like a leg, foot. So if that's the case, let's just do a trend line like this. A little tighter. So now we have these, we have this, we have this, and we have this holding. If we lose this level, this is an indication we're probably going to come down a little bit further down to the 996, 97 zone. And we can re-gauge from there after that. Let's look at GRT. We haven't looked at GRT lately. I just saw it on here. There it is. GRT, look at that. We're still compressing into this zone. Not only are we compressing into it, looks like we're starting to take a direction. The question here is going to be, is this going to be a fake out to the downside, back up in here, and then like this? Or is this going to be a breakout to the downside? If the market is moving down, GRT is going to be moving down. This looks like, look at this. We saw this roll over. Now we have a new lower low from this portion. The question is going to be what happens. Are we going to hit this sort of level right here, which is, what level is that? 9.4. So we're 0.6, basically 6 cents above this zone right now. We already pushed down. The question, yeah, let's get some more clarity. 2-hour chart. So breakdown, attempt up, rejection of the 20 simple moving average or 20 exponential moving average. And now we have this dynamic resistance zone right here. We're pushing up, broke the 20 EMA. We pushed up into this, but we're starting to roll over a little bit already. I would think that this is going to fail. This is going to test this low right here, which is 998. We lose this, and we're going to be testing next stop 9.6. And then what would be the next stop down from that? Look at that. That just blows me away. See this low bounce right here, bounce right here. Look at this extension from this previous price action. It's right on line with the 2.618. That's crazy. So let's go ahead and come over here. Let's do the same thing right here. Option F from the bottom to the top. And look at this. Price action came down, bounced on the 1.786, came up, rejected the 1.382, came back down, found support here. I don't know why it was there. Okay, this is why. Right here. Option J. We look to the left. You don't know. You say this is stopping in just a random spot. It's not. Bounced right here, coming up, finding resistance on the 1.786. Next stop down would be somewhere right here in this pocket, the 9.7, under the 2.618. This is a, basically golden pocket extension. And all you need to do if you want to do that is open up your Fibonacci tool, which you do over here on the left. Select the fib retracement. You can put a star on it if you want. It'll always be in your little toolbar down here on the bottom. But then once it's up on your screen, just double click on it. And you can add in the values you want. They don't need to be in order. It'll put them in the right order. But I like the 0, the 382, 0.382, 0.618, 0.65. This is your golden pocket. And then your 1. So you have your 0 and your 1, which is the top and the bottom. So you can see where you're drawing from. And then you're going to want a 1.618, 1.382, 1.786. You guys can take a screenshot of that if you want. And you know what I'm going to do for you? I'm going to redo this later. and do them all in order so it doesn't get confusing for anybody. And then the other thing is, by the way, see how pretty this is? Some people have their fibs like this with all this color and shit. I don't like that. It's just too much going on the chart. I turned the background off on mine so you can see it clearly. But yeah, that's what we're seeing on the graph. If this does come up and take this level out, look at this breakdown, rejection right at this low and the 1.786. If this does come up, then I'm expecting a likely rejection. And this is crazy. The top side of this range, when the price gets up to this level, this is going to curve out a little bit. It's right about just below where the top side of this range is here. I expect more likely than not rejection here, at least at minimum for a little bit of a consolidation. Doesn't mean rejection is going down. Just means this bullish attempt is not going to follow through on this first attempt up. If it does, great. We have this. Oops. If it does, great. We have this area right here that we are. Oh God, you motherfucker. Okay, there we go. We have this area right here we're contending with. Downside resistance as well as upside resistance. A lot of resistance above us, as well as these moving averages in the dynamic resistance zone as well. A lot going on above our heads with GRT. AGIX, I saw that. It was in the morning streams request, and I did not do it, so let's do it right now. Okay, top formation. This looks just like the bull market in Bitcoin. This looks just like the bull market in Bitcoin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right here. What am I talking about? Ow. I feel like I stepped on a piece of glass or something. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rounding top, then breakdown. This is on the 3-day chart. You can also, it looks the same on the weekly. But the point is, what we're seeing is this rounding top that came into that bull market sell-off. Yeah, the sell-off, China minus shut down, and then the secondary top, which is right here, not over there. This is that zone. And when we look at this again, here on AGIX, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, lower high, sorry, lower low, lower high, fall down. These patterns on these assets in crypto markets repeat on different assets in different ways. And when you start seeing something like this, you're like, oh, I'm going to get this dip because it's about to moonshot. Well, you see this rounding nature and you get the lower high, lower low, followed by lower high, and then the breakdown. Trend signal line right here. Before this even happened, this trend signal line started turning red. See that? See how this line is green? It's only green when it's a bullish trend. It starts turning red right here. That could have been a sell signal in itself. Now we're looking at this on the 2-hour. Let's look a little broader out. 3-day. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. It's looking like it's wanting to ultimately test this low here, 18.7, with the potential wick down below. I personally don't think that's going to happen unless markets broadly start taking pretty big spills. This is looking, if I was just looking at this chart, this is looking like it wants to find a taparoo right down here, 18.7, 18.6, right in this sort of zone right here. That would be a double bottom as well. We also have a trend line that is formed that we did have a deviation out of it. See this? Check, 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 check. Breakout, kind of a retest, push up, retest, out, and then lost it. Barely losing it right now, though. And as it stands, we're trying to hold on to this low right here, but we're it's looking more like it's going to break it than hold it. So we're going to want to pay attention to that. AGIX is in a little bit of a no trade zone. There's a couple more. Nachos and guac. Real quick, roll call for everybody. I haven't been looking at the chat. I want to see everybody in the house right now. Who's all the OGs? Who's the morning stream people? Who's new here? Let me know. Everybody, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. We got a few minutes left. I want to engage a little bit with everybody in the chat. Can you guess my answer from the poll? I don't know what the poll even was. Oh, fib retracement. Yeah. Yeah. All right, I'm going to let that populate here for a second. We're going to look at, you know what? I keep telling people I'm going to do it, and I keep forgetting because I don't freaking care about SHIB. Let's look at SHIB. I'll do it for you, for the people. All right, let's go ahead. Let's look at the 3-day. So this is a pretty substantial push up. Let's see. Alexander G, what's up? Alex Green, what's up? Sawtooth Hiker. Afini Mazada. Jeanette, DDMS, what's up? King Peasant. OG. Fibonacci's and Guac. I love that name. Brokoshi No Dinero. Donald Massey, maybe a Band-Aid. Got all the real true OGs in the house. Most of you have been watching since before we had even 1,000 subs, which is not that many months ago. We've been crushing it. Thanks to all of you. Sofa King, sort of here. Randy Moore, what's up? True Duke, what's good, y'all? Now, looking at this, we got a bit of a trend line. If we were wondering if this was going to go up, well, first things first, let's draw a trend line. It doesn't look like it was ever going to, it looks like there was a stopping point on this run up here. So remember, I told you the news coming out today, maybe there's going to be a sell event because people are going to be taking some profits. No, I was doing the polls, but I was doing it by way of channeling it through my inner amigo, Alejandro Granito. So we could see this push up, sell off. We had a trend line, low here, high here, extended out. We knew that this was an area of interest. We know that we have speculative buying going into a news event and then potential selling of larger accounts after. And this is exactly what it looks like is happening right now. We also have the momentum is, we got some green volume here on the waves. You see where my mouse is down here. Looks like if we zoom in on this, stochastics look fairly topped out. RSI is already angled sharply down. VWAP is coming back towards the center line. Money flow has actually been negative this whole time, which is interesting, but this does look like it does overall look like it has a bit of an arc to it. So the question is going to be, is that going to continue to play out, or is this going to continue chopping sideways for the money flow? This pink wave that you see here, that's negative money flow, meaning money coming out of the market. So this is a 3-day. Let's go down to the 2-hour. Double click here. All right. Look at these forewarning you, trend shift. Bearish signal down, reversal back to the upside. And we see this trend shift right at a known level of resistance, rejection down. We lost the 50 moving average, the trend signal line, all this dynamic support, lost it. Now we're under it, finding resistance. We broke through the 20, but got rejected at the 50. Lost it. Tried to have a deviation above and move further down. And now we're getting rejected right about where the EMA ribbons are right here. And the momentum is looking like it's going to the downside. This is looking to me like, I would say at minimum, testing this sort of this order block zone right here, which is 930 region. But I think more likely than not, this is going to come down. And I don't know why I have this inkling that this is going to happen. That's what I think is going to happen. SHIB just got some great news. Couldn't follow through. If the markets start pulling back, then this might come down here, bounce, because we get the speculative retail, and then sell off. Smart money leaves retail, non-strategy traders holding the bag, and then the market falls through the floor because then they capitulate because there's no more strength. There's no more strong holders. There's no more smart money holding. We also look at this. Higher high, lower high, lower high, higher high. That's bearish divergence. There's multiple signals going into this move that suggested this was going to get rejected there. So that's what I'm seeing on SHIB. We're going to do Pepe. I don't know if I've ever even charted Pepe. That's the nice thing about these indicators too. The BitLab volume automatically gives you zones to be looking at when you have it on. And you also get the benefit of knowing where the volume interests are. So, okay, we got a little bit of a trend line on this bad boy too. Option T. Is that one? This is ugly as hell. That's not even a trend line, so we're going to delete it. All right, so here we go. Option J. This is where this is getting rejected from. Where the lows of the previous range. We see that throughout this whole move, this price was going up. Look at this. Stochastics coming down. RSI strength coming down. Okay. They're coming down here. You see where my mouse is right here? Coming down here as price is going up. That's suggesting that this must have had a lot of momentum coming down this hill where it's like it's just rolling without anybody's foot on the gas pedal. And this is why it's starting to round and then it loses it. We do have a pretty big spread here from the weekly VWAP. I could see a case to be made that this does bounce up in here and try to take out some part of this region up here at the 12,950 sort of zone, maybe a little bit below it, maybe the bottom side of this range, 12,866. But if the market really starts pulling back, then I think this is likely going to come and test this as a sort of double bottom of this region. But we can find some supports along the way in these order blocks. Filecoin. We haven't looked at Filecoin in a minute. Man, look at that drop. Excuse me. Man, look at this sort of almost weird, sort of almost like it's a range forming. Bounce here, order blocks. Bounce, right? This order block, also all these previous lows. We can see a little bit of a trend line right here. So rejection, 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 deviation above, right back in, rejection. Okay, this came right down to this order block, green order block. I put a line there. It's previous lows as well. Bounced right here. We're getting some mixed signals here on the trend control panel here on the BitLab Trend Fuel. Let's look at the 1 hour, see if there's anything brewing. Now this is starting, I mean, on this case, it could be made. This kind of looks like it could be an inverted Bart Simpson pattern, down, sideways, very quick back up. The question is going to be, is that going to be a follow-through move where it goes up and then continues, or it comes up and then works its way back down? And that's a speculation in and of itself. First things first, we need to break through this trend signal line here. This is on the 1 hour. Let's look on the 2 hour. We got some ways to go before we even do that. This is looking currently more like a bear flag, bear pennant. So if that were to be the case, then the target on this bad boy would be just like this. Come out. That would be right about where that target was I was showing from previous lows. So this would be somewhat fronting what the target is of what this pattern is, which is kind of how most patterns work anyway. When you have an exact target, people tend to see that, especially if it's a very noticeable pattern. People will front run that, and you'll start getting, you know, the liquidity will evaporate before you get all the way to the target. Now the question is going to be, is this going to play out? As it stands right now, 3 days, everything's angled down, but the stochastics are resetting. I would see some sort of interaction here. You see how this push up, pull back, push up, in formation, drop, pull back. Oh, we already got the pullback, but maybe some sort of consolidation here. That's on the 3 day though. Maybe some sort of consolidation here, relief up into this zone here, which would be 370, 397, 397.9. When I was growing up in Houston, there was a hip hop radio station I used to listen to, 97.9. I can't remember the name of it though. But yeah, this is looking, I see further downside. Even if we get a relief, I see further downside. That's Pepe. What's something else we haven't looked at in a while? Doge. Just if anybody's watching me for the first time, I very rarely look at these very small cap coins. People have been asking me on the morning stream to do it multiple days, and I keep forgetting, so I figured I'd do it right now. Okay, we had a little bit of a trend line right here. Look at that, we lost it. If this is going to come down further, I'm seeing it come down into this zone here, 64, 6.48. 6.4 to 6.3 sort of zone. If we lose that, then I think we're going to kind of test this area down here. These are the two areas that I'm looking at. If this does push up, then we have this previous low right above us. We have to first clear this level right here. If we cannot clear 730, then on any sort of relief up, then this, I do think this is coming down. Matic, how you looking, baby? Matic dropping, but it is starting to round. Let's look down at the 4 hour. Starting to round a little bit. We got the diamond here showing that it's no longer expanding bearishly. It's starting to contract back towards the zero line. We have volume came up a bit. Let's go down a little bit smaller time frame. Okay, we tried to make a push up. This is not good. We tried to make a push up here, got rejected right in the middle of this dynamic resistance zone. And we're just sitting right here. This is looking like it's wanting to potentially, like we saw, I think it was on Cardano, maybe we set up a W and then go up. That's the bullish hope, though. This pattern with all this bearishness looks like whatever it's going to do, maybe it chops here for a second, but more likely than not go down. I didn't say it has to. More likely than not in terms of the price structure. However, this has so many partnerships and so much stuff it's working on all the time. I think a bounce anywhere in this region would be highly wonderful, because then, in all honesty, if we look at this, let's go to the 8 hour. If we look at this like this, we are forming a larger W formation right now. So even if this is continue to break down, the broader picture of this is showing a large bullish formation reversal pattern potentially forming. So this is good. It's been a good stream. I really enjoyed talking about all the things we talked about today. Let's look at a couple more. Link. Man, this is just a range mother. It is, yeah. So zooming in here. This looks like it was bottom, push up, push up, push up. It's kind of a blow off, but not quite. Reversal to the downside. If we cannot hold above this zone right here, let's go ahead and delete all these other lines. Too many lines. We're right in the middle of this order block. If we lose the order block and this high and this low right here, price is likely coming down much lower, down to the about another $1 down, 5.8, potentially all the way down to 5.7. You know, top side would be $6, bottom side would be 5.7 on just the minimum move if we lose this level. That's what I'm seeing for that. Let's look at dot. Rounding top. Was it 1, 2, 3, 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then right here, we're starting to get that lower high. 5 is a perfect round. This looks like it's going to try and test down, so I don't even need to draw lines. We have a top here. We have a top here. This is why this is pausing here, because of this top here. But this is going to be weak. Especially with all this red. I see the price action coming down here into the 441 to 450 sort of region. I see price likely coming down to for dot. BNB, how you doing, baby? Haven't looked at you in some time. Remember, BNB. Let me show you something scary on BNB. Remember. Look at this zone right here. Pew, 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 pew. Nothing. What is that percentage? Let's see what that percentage drop would be. If we lose the level we're at, which is right about right here, that would be a 80% drop. There's no supports in there. I'm looking on the, I'm pretty zoomed out here. So if we're looking here, we got to really pay attention on BNB, especially with all the stuff going on with Binance. And Binance Connect just getting shut down today. It looks like we have a bear flag right here, bear pennant. And it looks, if this is a bear pennant, it does look like we're trying to break out to the downside of this. And just note, if this is the case, that would be a breakdown to bounce somewhere on the low side of this range right here, which would be down at $180, which is exactly, look at that. That would be this low of this range would be basically front running this area right here. So pay attention, be careful when you're looking at all these markets. Zooming out on this before we go, dollars pushing up, creating the pressure on the risk narrative. Dominance is still trying to work its way higher. If we see this break above this 50.75, we're going to see a lot of pressure on the alts. There's a lot more capital going into Bitcoin. We see the total 3 looking like it wants to come down. Protect yourself before you wreck yourself. If you need to sit on your hands, sit on your hands. Be careful. Stay excited. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's stream, being back here with you guys in the morning. For now, I think that's all I got for you today. Make sure that you do head over to my page. Make sure you give me a follow right here at Kelly Kellam. You can also see it next to my name right there. It's how you spell it. Make sure you follow the BitLab Academy over here at Academy BitLab. And check out BitLab Academy's YouTube page. If you're watching on Hit Network or somewhere else, head over to youtube.com/@BitLab Academy. Follow us here. Join our community. Be a part of our community. And check out bitlabacademy.com if you have not checked that out yet. I don't know why my computer is going so damn slow. I got to make some trades, buy a new computer, I guess. But go check this out. Everybody, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Truly wonderful day. Get away from the computer a little bit today. Step outside. Get some sunshine on your face. And with that, that's all I got. Big love to each and every one of you. Hit that like button on the way out. Hit that subscribe. And I will see you in the next episode. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Hit that like button, sucker.